Everybody, welcome back to today. Hope everyone's doing good day today. So before that video, I want to make sure if you're okay with, because of that 1:28, that's 1 o'clock. So today, as I said, yesterday's video was I can video the day like after lunch afternoon, Yeah, but if you're okay with it, I'm 1 o'clock, but yeah, so today we're going to react to JTVideos Rebooted MCU Phase 8. So today is number 3. Project number 3 is Deadpool 3. So it's going to be like the same project, the same project Deadpool Wolverine. Yeah. So hope everybody joining that. So 1, 2, 3 reaction.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Rebooted MCU. Today we are here with Rebooted MCU Phase 8 Part 3. I'm not going to spend much time in the intro. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let's jump into this project. The third project in Phase 8 is Deadpool 3, and it takes place in Universe 2036. The project opens up as we watch a taxi pull up in front of the X-Mansion in the middle of the afternoon. As a back door of the taxi opens to reveal Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool, played by Ryan Reynolds, who leaps out as we hear So Happy Together by the Turtles blasting in the background as Dopinder, played by Karan Soni, thanks Deadpool for once again utilizing his services. As Deadpool skips through the X-Mansion, he passes Ellie Phemister, aka Negasonic Teenage Warhead, played by Brianna Hildebrand, who flips Wade off as he enters the office of Charles Xavier, aka Professor X, played by Giancarlo Esposito, who thanks him for coming on such short notice. Deadpool mentions that he doesn't simply turn down a call from Gus Fring, as Professor X tells Deadpool that he has called him here to deal with the menace known as the Blob, an old foe of the X-Men who has reappeared in South Dakota and is currently causing disruptions at the Corn Palace. And due to his unique strength and the relatively low number of capable fighters currently present at the X-Mansion, Charles was given no choice but to call Wade for help. Wade laughs, saying that there is no way all the big shots are busy, with Charles responding that currently Cyclops and Jean are dealing with a delinquent mutant who calls himself Pyro. Iceman and Angel are exploring the whereabouts of a mutant named Toad who has found himself in the news once again. Beast is searching for a mysterious place called the Savage Land. Rogue and Gambit were sent to return a mutant named Omega Red back to Russia, and Nightcrawler is currently aiding in an effort to uncover information about the Magia. Deadpool sighs but quickly perks up, saying that Charles didn't mention Quicksilver, who Charles says paid him not to bring up the fact that he was around. Deadpool pouts before quickly jumping up to say that he forgot to mention the name of a fan favorite, A-lister, someone even bigger than Cyclops himself. Charles nods, saying that given the unique powers of Blob, they will not be sending in Deadpool alone. As the doors to Charles' office open, as we watch Logan, aka Wolverine, played by Tom Hardy, enter the room, who looks at Deadpool and tells him not to get too excited. The only reason he is here is because he lost a bet with Scott. And as Deadpool begins fanboying over getting to work with Wolverine, the title card appears. A few hours later, Deadpool and Wolverine enter the front door of the Corn Palace, with Deadpool still beyond excited about working with Wolverine. Wolverine reminds Deadpool that their sole objective is to get Blob back to the Blackbird, warning that if Deadpool decides to try anything stupid, he has no qualms about ripping his body apart. Deadpool laughs as the duo enter the Corn Palace to find it destroyed, as we see Frederick Duke, aka Blob, played by Martin Ford, who's ripping bolted chairs out of place, searching for a seat of his own. Wolverine calls out to Blob, "Hey, Fatso, remember me?" With Deadpool recalling that Logan did body shame Blob during X-Men Apocalypse, Blob turns and tells the dude that they have entered his domain, as the Corn Palace was built for he and he alone. The duo look confused, as Blob reveals that after he ran away, following the defeat of Apocalypse, he decided to hit the gym and train like he never had before, becoming a being of pure muscle thanks to his corn-only diet. And because of this, he believes that only he is worthy of being named the King of Corn Palace. Deadpool informs Blob that the Corn Palace is, in fact, not an actual palace, while Wolverine laughs and says that Blob still looks as fat as he did the last time they fought. This sends Blob into a blind rage, screaming that he is merely big-boned as we watch Deadpool and Wolverine scuffle with him. The short fight is interrupted by two portals opening, with a man and woman exiting the portals and calling for Mr. Wade Wilson. Deadpool curses, realizing that this is a multiverse movie, as the two figures are revealed to be Major Domo, played by Fred Armisen, and Minor Domo, played by Maya Rudolph, who work for the television tycoon Mr. Friend, who has requested that Wade Wilson participate in the Coliseum, the most popular show in Mojo World. Deadpool tells the duo that he's in the middle of something, but Major Domo informs him that he does not have a say in the matter. And after continually refusing, Major Domo walks up to Deadpool and touches him with a green electricity scepter, which shocks his body and knocks him out. Wolverine growls and abandons his fight with Blob to rescue Deadpool before he is also knocked out by Minor Domo and her electricity scepter. Major Domo tells Minor Domo to bring the other creature along with them to see if he is also as capable of a fighter as Wade, as the two portals open up once again with Major and Minor Domo carrying the knocked out Deadpool and Wolverine into an unknown dimension. An unknown amount of time later, we watch as Deadpool and Wolverine awaken in chains inside of a mysterious and dingy-looking laboratory. As they come to their senses, we are greeted by a man named Arise, played by Ben Stiller, the chief scientist of Mojo World, who helped bring the duo inside their pocket dimension.
Damn it, this!
Lucy. Lucy.
It's not Ben anymore.
At the University of Law, you get so much more. We provide more ways for you to...
While Deadpool freaks out about meeting the guy from the night of the museum, Wolverine asks Arise if he dragged them into a new universe, which Arise retorts, saying that they are, in fact, inside a pocket dimension, a small dimension that falls outside the normal boundaries of space and time. Arise explains that he is a member of the humanoid race, the race ruled by the head of Mojo World, Mojo, the man who requested the pair to be brought to Mojo World. As it turns out, Deadpool and Wolverine are special guests of Mojo himself, deemed top prospects by Major Domo, who are now going to be competing in the Coliseum, the most profitable show in all of Mojo World. Wolverine looks confused, while Deadpool tells Arise that the only Mojo he knows is Watch Mojo. Arise rolls his eyes before releasing Deadpool and Wolverine from their chains, and saying that Lord Mojo will be the one to explain everything that they need to know, and calls for the head scheduler of Mojo World, Spiral, played by Claudia Kim, to take the pair to meet Mojo in Mojo City at the Mojo Cafe. As Spiral leads Deadpool and Wolverine to Mojo City, the duo finally get to look around. The city is bustling, filled with advertisements and pamphlets detailing the upcoming programming on the Mojo Universe channel, while each building has two entrances, one with the word aristocrats and the other slaves, with the interior of both buildings looking incredibly different. The aristocrats' interior looking lavish, while the slaves' looks run down and decrepit. Wolverine snarls at Deadpool, saying that the two should cut the crap and begin formulating a plan of escape and a way to find their way back to their universe. Deadpool tells Wolverine to calm down, saying that if they are going to be treated like special guests, they should at least enjoy it while they can. Wolverine asks Deadpool if he has a serious bone in his body, which Deadpool confirms, but says that JTVideos won't allow him to expand on it further than that. Wolverine growls, with Deadpool cheerfully saying, "Oh, don't break my back, Bane. Things are gonna be okay." As the two quit bickering, we watch as Spiral brings them inside the Mojo Cafe. Inside the Mojo Cafe, we see a bunch of normal-looking men and women eating and drinking expensive and lavish meals, with many empty tables having plates filled with high-quality food disposed by the waiters. Spiral finally leads the pair into the very back room of the cafe, where we see the giant creature known as Mojo, played by Will Ferrell, sitting at a large circular table with men dressed in business attire and a humanoid goat hybrid creature named Quark, played by Billy Eichner. Spiral introduces the guests to Mojo, who welcomes his new champions to Mojo World, noting that the man they first met when they arrived in Mojo World, Arise, was the one who created the fabulous mechanical spine that allows him to move around. Deadpool looks at Wolverine and tells him that Dr. Octopus has really let himself go, while Quark drunkenly elbows Mojo, encouraging him to explain the game to his new pawn. Mojo tells Quark to quit nagging him, or next time he'll rip his head from his body, before explaining the reason he brought Deadpool and Wolverine into Mojo World. Mojo World operates solely on the success or failure of Mojo's television empire, named Mojo Universe, with the aristocrats making the economy function by profiting on the successful shows that play on the channel. The most popular show, the Coliseum, is a battle royale type show that pits incredibly powerful fighters against one another in flashy combat. However, the show's ratings have dropped rapidly over time as a current champion of the Coliseum. Longshot has not given up his title since he was brought to the arena. Major Domo brought Mojo footage of Deadpool's fighting style, which caused Mojo to salivate at the thought of him fighting in the Coliseum, being someone who could potentially save the show's ratings from totally tanking. Mojo tells the duo that while Deadpool was originally the only fighter he planned on introducing, the surprise inclusion of Wolverine will only boost ratings, and tells Spiral to escort the duo to the VIP quarters, where they will rest before making their tournament appearance tomorrow. Quark once again elbows Mojo, asking him what he will do once the ratings are saved, prompting Mojo to scream in a blind rage, ripping Quark's head from his body as blood splashes everywhere. Mojo breathes heavily, before apologizing to his guests for a short temper. As Spiral leads the duo to their quarters, Wolverine once again tells Deadpool that they should escape while they can, but Deadpool declines, telling Wolverine just once he wants to live his ultimate dream, being the star of his own TV show, free from the FCC, where he can do whatever he wants and be as crass as possible. Wolverine rolls his eyes as Deadpool pats him on the head and tells him not to worry, as the second act is about to start. The next morning, we cut inside the Coliseum as we see camera crews and aristocrats fill the stadium, a buzz building about the new combatants who will show off their skills that morning. We see Minor Domo chatting with Deadpool and Wolverine, informing them that Mojo would only like one of the two to fight in today's competition, mainly so they can continue to build up hype for a new challenger over the span of the next 2 Coliseum episodes. Deadpool agrees to fight in today's challenge and enters the arena, as the crowd roars with excitement, with even Mojo cheering with excitement from his VIP suite, seated next to Arise. Deadpool stands in the middle of the arena, relishing in the attention and admiration, screaming, "I am the hope of the universe. I am the answer to all living things that cry out for views. I am the protector of the innocent. I am the light in the darkness. I am the truth. Ally to good. Nightmare to the PR team. I am a..." Deadpool is cut off by Major Domo, who announces that Deadpool will begin his Coliseum challenge by facing off in a preliminary match against an army of werewolves. Creatures made by Arise that resemble robotic wolves. Deadpool looks around as a large pack of werewolves surround him, but he is easily able to destroy them with his katanas, much to the eager delight of the roaring crowd. Major Domo then announces that the gladiators are about to enter the Coliseum, and as he does, Deadpool notices around 20 to 30 warriors enter the arena, all seemingly either robots or humans with robotic upgrades. Major Domo points out a few of the Coliseum favorites, including Sweep Sweep, played by Mike Myers, Time Slot, played by Rob Brydon, Grimgrave, played by Iana Haley, and the current champion of the Coliseum, Longshot, played by Owen Wilson. Deadpool easily dispatches the gladiators, except for Longshot, who Deadpool realizes possesses superhuman strength, but also fights with small throwing knives, beam blasters, and a jetpack built into his shoes. Despite these upgrades, Deadpool is ultimately able to defeat Longshot, who lies on the ground with a tear falling from his eye, while Deadpool stands and basks in the applause as he is named the new champion of the Coliseum. We cut to a few minutes after the battle as Deadpool runs and meets Wolverine, asking him what he thought of the match. Wolverine admits that watching the fight got his blood pumping, but tells Deadpool that now they really need to focus on finding a way to return to their universe. The conversation is interrupted by Minor Domo, who hands Deadpool a voucher for a full-course meal at the Mojo Cafe, thanking him for an incredible performance and telling him that Lord Mojo was incredibly impressed. Wolverine growls, telling Deadpool that they do not have time to eat, as Deadpool runs over and invites Sweep Sweep, Time Slot, and Grimgrave to eat with him and Wolverine. Longshot walks past the group, his eyes red from crying as Deadpool invites him to join the group as well. Longshot snaps, telling Deadpool that Mojo can tear as many limbs from his body and even crush his heart. But even if he has to from the depths of the underworld, he will crawl his way back and kill Deadpool for what he did. As Longshot walks away, the group stands in silence before Deadpool awkwardly laughs, commenting that the dude from Marley and Me turned out to be a real jerk, before leading the group towards Mojo Cafe.
Good. Well brushed. That's impressive. There's no...
Inside the cafe, we watch as Deadpool, Wolverine, Sweep Sweep, Time Slot, and Grimgrave sit around the table as their food is brought to them. As they begin eating, Grimgrave begins weeping, thanking Deadpool, and saying that it has been forever since she has eaten real food. Sweep Squeak laughs as a tear falls from his face, saying that slaves like them have whatever ingredients are discarded from the aristocrat kitchen, which mostly ends up being expired rations and condiments. Wolverine looks startled as Time Slot says that the meal will make up for the pain that they are about to suffer due to their loss in the Colosseum. Deadpool slams his fist on the table, telling the group to quit acting ungrateful for their meal, before Wolverine tells him to shut up and asks the group to explain further. Sweep Squeak explains that despite their robotic appearance, they were all humanoids before they began the Colosseum Challenge. All slaves were forced to participate in the Colosseum Challenge, and for every event you lose, Mojo decides to leave a permanent reminder of your failure. Arise will replace a part of your body with a random mechanical part, effectively destroying your humanity and causing you to become the very thing Mojo desires, an entertainment machine that has no spirit left to resist and can only submit. Sweep Squeak says that before he started in the Colosseum, he was considered the most handsome man in Mojo World, so Mojo decided to remove the flesh from his face, and now children cry when he walks the streets at night. Time Slot says that Arise placed incendiary objects all across his body, which engulf him in flame and give him the appearance of a blazing skeleton. But despite this, his body is still not adjusted to the heat, causing him to suffer from a constant burning sensation every minute of every day. Gringrave notes that she used to be a sitcom star before she joined the Colosseum, and because her favorite thing to do was to dress up, her hands were distorted, and now she can't dress herself without the assistance of another. Wolverine sits in silence, having a flashback to the Weapon X experiment that deprived him of humanity, while Deadpool looks out the window as he sees Longshot exit the hospital next to the cafe. Deadpool gulps and asks the group what is the story behind Longshot, which causes the three to fall silent, as Sweep Squeak says that his story is perhaps the saddest of all. Sweep Squeak explains that Longshot used to be a famous stuntman and performer who was involved with the second most popular show in Mojo World. However, Mojo would discover that despite Longshot being great for views, he was problematic for society. As you see, Longshot also worked as an inventor and would create useful technology free of cost for the slaves of Mojo World. Enraged by this, Longshot would lose all of his wealth when the show was cancelled and was forced to fight in the Colosseum along with the love of his life, his wife, Lois London, played by Jenna Fisher. During their first fight in the Colosseum, London would suffer a devastating injury, an injury so bad that it left her mostly paralyzed, to the point where even Mojo didn't have the heart to alter her body in any way, as the injury she suffered was punishment enough. Despite his wife's injury, Longshot found that he could still communicate with his wife in a single way, by letting her rub his left arm, an action that would cause London to at least crack a slight smile. However, Mojo caught wind of this and threatened Longshot. If he should ever lose in the Colosseum, his left arm would be the first part of his body removed, preventing him from communicating with his wife again. This placed Longshot in a difficult situation, as it forced him to defeat the people he grew up with and watch them slowly become robots, losing all their humanity, all because he wanted to continue communicating with the love of his life. Gringrave sighs, saying that now it is likely that Longshot will lose his left arm because of Deadpool beating him in the Colosseum, which causes both Deadpool and Wolverine to stand and exit the cafe. We watch as Deadpool and Wolverine enter Arise's laboratory to find Mojo discussing the Colosseum match with Arise. Mojo welcomes in Deadpool and Wolverine, boasting that viewership of the Colosseum has increased 300% because of Deadpool's stellar performance. But Deadpool cuts him off, saying that he can't allow Arise to remove Longshot's arm. Mojo laughs, asking Deadpool if he truly thinks he can boss him around, with Wolverine adding that if he does anything to Longshot, the duo will sit out of the Colosseum match tomorrow. Mojo's face grows red as he begins wreaking havoc on the laboratory, screaming in anger as Arise encourages him to stop. Deadpool thinks on his feet, quickly telling Mojo that he has a compromise for him. In exchange for Mojo agreeing not to operate on Longshot, not only will Deadpool fight Wolverine during the match tomorrow, but they will bring in some powerful, show-stopping friends of theirs from their home dimension to participate in the Colosseum.
One day, I'm going to serve my country and make all my family proud. But one day,
Some bad things will happen.
Mojo stops, smiles, and tells the duo that he will accept their proposal on two conditions. 1, that Longshot is kept in the laboratory with Arise, and 2, that the match between Deadpool and Wolverine breaks Colosseum viewership records. If those two conditions are satisfied, he will not operate on Longshot. As Mojo exits the lab, he instructs Arise to work with the two to gather the additional fighters for the Coliseum. Arise types in the number 0139, which opens the portal back to Universe 0139, and instructs Deadpool to quickly gather his comrades and return using a special harness invented by Arise, which he hands over to Deadpool. Deadpool quickly begins naming off the people he wants to invite to fight in the Coliseum, mentioning Dopender before Wolverine pushes him out of the way, grabbing the harness and telling Deadpool that he will take care of gathering the others. As Wolverine enters the portal, Deadpool and Arise stand awkwardly, with Deadpool finally asking Arise how he managed to get his hands on the multiversal traversing technology. Arise explains that a friend of his, Reed Richards of Universe 1610, befriended him while he was exploring pocket dimensions, and came back a while later and offered to sell him multiversal traversing technology in exchange for cash and the schematics for Mojo's mechanical spine, as he needed funds to build some sort of secret contraption. Deadpool breaks the fourth wall, clapping with excitement and uttering, "Maker Reed," before lifting up his mask and winking at the audience. Suddenly we watch as Wolverine returns with new recruits to fight in the Coliseum. Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Piotr Rasputin, aka Colossus, played by Stefan Kapakic, Kurt Wagner, aka Nightcrawler, played by Rami Malek, Anna Marie, aka Rogue, played by Elizabeth Gillies, and Remy LeBeau, aka Gambit, played by Kelvin Harrison Jr. Deadpool stands in amazement, turning to Arise, saying that not only did he get a movie with an A-tier X-Men, but also a few B and C tiers, calling this the best RMCU project ever. We cut to that evening inside Deadpool's room as we see the team gathered together with Deadpool thanking them for coming. Negasonic rolls her eyes, asking Deadpool why the hell they got dragged to a place like this, with Nightcrawler commenting that this place is creepier than Oyama Heavy Metal. Deadpool groans, telling the group that he knows this place is weird, but he got himself in a mess and that he needs their help to get out of it. Rogue tells Deadpool that they already took care of one mess already, with Gambit revealing that he and Rogue were called off their mission to help relocate Blob after Deadpool and Wolverine disappeared, who is now safely working as a farmhand in Iowa. Deadpool laughs, asking Wolverine if he remembers when he body shamed that dude, which prompts Wolverine to growl at the group, telling them to all shut up. Wolverine explains the situation to the team and tells them that the outcome of this is personal to him. While he initially wanted no part of helping out the inhabitants of Mojo World, he now can't help but see himself in all of them. Wolverine recounts the horrors that he experienced during the Weapon X experiment. His brain fried, which caused him to lose all of his memories, and feeling like there was nothing else in his life except to be known as a tool for destruction. That was until he met Charles, the man who gave him a reason to keep going and not allow his spirit to be broken. Wolverine looks around the room, saying that he wouldn't want anyone, not even his worst enemy, to suffer what he experienced through Weapon X, and that he would gladly do whatever it takes to stop Mojo and his henchmen from continuing to harm the inhabitants of this place. The group falls silent as Colossus tells Wolverine that they are X-Men, and that means standing in the way of evil wherever it is found, saying that they will fight to save the inhabitants of this place along with their comrades. Deadpool looks at Wolverine, who says that it is time for them to start planning the defeat of Mojo as the group begins to strategize. We cut to the next day as Deadpool and Wolverine enter the Coliseum arena, greeted by cheers from the crowd. Minor Domo stands at the entrance, knowing that none of the other Coliseum gladiators have arrived to participate in the ceremony. Inside the Coliseum, Major Domo announces the start of the fight, as Deadpool and Wolverine face one another. Deadpool reminds Wolverine that this is all part of the plan, and they aren't going all out in this fight. Wolverine releases his claws, reminding Deadpool that his blood started pumping when he watched his fight, and once his blood starts pumping, the only thing that can stop it is going all out. Deadpool shakes his head, shrugs, and says that at least they both have healing factors, before unsheathing his katanas and looking right into the eyes of Wolverine, saying, "You know, Ivan Locke, I'm the best at what I do, and what I do." Deadpool is cut off as Wolverine leaps at him and the two begin fighting. Mojo watches from the VIP suite as he turns to Arise and nods, which prompts Arise to speak into an earpiece, telling an unknown person to start the process. Inside the laboratory, Spiral looks over Longshot, who's been bolted down on an operating table, and tells him that while the gladiators made a valiant effort to save his arm, Mojo doesn't negotiate with lesser beings. As Spiral picks up a saw to cut off Longshot's arm, we watch as an explosion hits the door of the laboratory as Negasonic and Nightcrawler enter the lab. Nightcrawler frees Longshot while Negasonic neutralizes Spiral. Longshot asks the pair what the heck they're doing, with Nightcrawler telling Longshot that he needs to follow them, as he is a driving force behind the rebellion against Mojo. As the three exit the lab, Longshot stands stunned, as the entire roster of Coliseum gladiators stand with Colossus, Rogue, and Gambit, cheering for Longshot, saying that today, Mojo's reign of terror ends. Longshot turns to Negasonic, who says that this was Deadpool and Wolverine's way of saying sorry. As the color returns to Longshot's face, he shouts to the crowd of warriors, telling them to follow him to the Coliseum, as today is the day they finally get their freedom back from Mojo.
Go curate for cash on Vinted. Don't use it, sell it.
Inside the Coliseum, we see a blood-stained arena floor as both Deadpool and Wolverine stand panting from exhaustion, as it appears both went all out in their clash. Deadpool pants, saying that they should have sent Colossus with Nightcrawler instead of the Brat. However, the match is interrupted as a group of gladiators led by Longshot march into the stadium, causing the crowd to jeer in both anger and confusion. Longshot looks to both Deadpool and Wolverine, thanking them for their help, but Wolverine reminds him that this is just the start. Mojo screams from his suite, demanding to know why Longshot interrupted the fight, which prompts Longshot to yell, saying that today is the day that Mojo is put in his place. Lamenting about the years of torture his friends have suffered solely because Mojo cared more about turning positive ratings than he did about the humanoids who worked for him. Mojo growls that he doesn't need to concern himself with lesser beings, and that Longshot should know that because of his transgression, he will kill Lois personally. Longshot grits his teeth, saying that while Mojo might have tried, he couldn't break the spirits of those he imprisoned, screaming that the revolution has begun. Mojo demands that the werewolves be released into the arena, which caused an all-out fight between the werewolves and the gladiators. Wolverine turns to Longshot and says that the goal for the trio is to successfully recover the multiversal traversing device from Arise and bring down Mojo. Longshot tells Wolverine that they should not underestimate Mojo, as he is a creature with immense power and intense anger, which prompts Deadpool to tell Longshot that Mojo shouldn't underestimate them either. As the trio takes off towards Mojo and Arise, he watches Negasonic, Nightcrawler, Colossus, Sweepsweep, Timeslot, and Grimgrave fight against the werewolves. Both Major and Minor Domo join the battle, with it being revealed that they are also expert combatants, with Minor Domo facing off against Rogue and Major Domo facing off against Gambit. We cut to see Deadpool and Longshot face off against Mojo, who begins throwing his fists and body around rapidly in a blind fit of rage, movement that prevents Deadpool and Longshot from landing a decent hit on him. Arise dashes throughout the Coliseum with Wolverine hot on his trail, as absolute chaos befalls Mojo World. He watches Minor Domo lands a hit on Rogue, who smiles and says that the gloves are finally coming off, as her yellow gloves fall to the ground. Minor Domo grins, saying that she is glad Rogue has finally stopped worrying about her looks and has begun focusing on the fight instead. Rogue winks. Oh, sugar, these gloves ain't just for looking pretty as a pea. They're also to stop me from hurting the people I care for. And when they come off, well, I'll just show you. Rogue leaps at Minor Domo, putting her in a headlock, twisting her body and eventually breaking her neck as she falls to the ground, dead. Gambit dodges projectiles thrown by Major Domo and pulls out a deck of cards, asking if Major Domo is ready to play. Major Domo screams at Gambit for mocking him, as Gambit begins throwing cards at Major Domo. And when about 6 are stuck in his body, Gambit unleashes the kinetic energy of the cards, which results in the bloody, explosive death of Major Domo. Wolverine is finally able to leap on top of Arise, using his claws to cut his head clean off as he recovers a multiversal traversing device and races back towards Deadpool and Longshot. Back in the VIP suite, we watch as Deadpool and Longshot lie on the ground. Mojo's unique and rotund body has allowed him to land massive blows against the duo that has caused them to take substantial damage, but has also prevented them from causing much damage to him. Mojo has bloodshot eyes. Staring at Longshot, he lifts one of his mechanical legs, screaming that Longshot ruined his best performing show, and as he prepares to stab him in the chest, Wolverine leaps in the way of the attack, blocking it and protecting Longshot. Wolverine hands a multiversal traversing device to Deadpool, saying that the only thing they need to do now is to find a way to defeat Mojo. Longshot sits up, saying that there is no way they can win. He is too durable and too powerful to be brought down. Wolverine snarls at Longshot, reminding him what he said to Mojo when their revolution first began, that Mojo hadn't broken his spirit. Longshot nods, stands, and unleashes an all-out attack against Mojo. But as Deadpool attempts to stand and join in, Wolverine stops him, telling him that this is not their fight. While Longshot lands blow after blow on Mojo, Mojo does still not take blows that cause him significant damage, with the group slowly starting to realize that perhaps their power isn't enough to bring him down. This is when Deadpool gets an idea, pulling out the multiversal traversing device as he begins typing in coordinates. Wolverine asks what he's doing, with Deadpool saying that he is just providing a small assist, telling Longshot to prepare to unleash his most powerful attack in a few seconds. Deadpool closes his eyes and randomly types in 10006 and hits a button, which opens up a portal behind Mojo. Wolverine and Deadpool scream for Longshot to do it, prompting Longshot to unleash a powerful punch, combined with his beam blasters that knocks Mojo into the portal, landing him in Universe 10006 as Deadpool deactivates the portal, with the three claiming victory over Mojo and his men. We cut to a few hours later as we get a look at Mojo City. The signs denoting different entrances for the aristocrats and slaves have been removed, as we see former gladiators and the former aristocrats all dining in the same location within the cafe. At the edge of town, we watch Deadpool, Wolverine, Negasonic, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Rogue, and Gambit prepare to depart from Mojo World as Longshot, Sweep, Timesot, and Gringrave say their goodbyes. Deadpool, who holds the multiversal traversing device, asks Longshot if he is sure they don't need to help rebuild anything further, with Longshot declining the offer, saying that while they have a long road ahead of them, Mojo World will be better off thanks to the efforts of Deadpool and Wolverine. Wolverine smiles as Deadpool asks Longshot how he's going to feel being trapped in this small little pocket dimension, as without the multiversal traversing device, they will no longer be able to escape and go to other dimensions. Longshot says that not having access to that dangerous piece of technology is probably for the best, saying that he still hopes that Deadpool would consider visiting him at some point in the future. Deadpool then looks around and leans close to Longshot, whispering in his ear, "Look, keep this a secret, pal. But when the wars eventually break out, your old pal Deadpool will come calling. And when he does, you better have your men ready to go." Longshot looks confused as Deadpool waves goodbye as he types in the coordinate 0139 into the device as he and the X-Men return to their universe. About a month later, we watch as Deadpool sits on his couch reading the newspaper with the headline saying, "Dukes wins Corn King crown at Iowa State Fair," as we see Vanessa, played by Marina Baccarin, place chimichangas in front of him. Deadpool thanks Vanessa before looking to the camera and breaking the fourth wall, saying that he will save JT the trouble of putting Deadpool will return at the end credit, saying that he does have a fourth project, and also that there was a reason Guardian was revealed in Black Panther. Deadpool lifts his mask and winks before picking up the chimichangas and saying, "Wait."
This stunning hair transformation was achieved with Olaplex's newest launch, a hydrating hair mask designed for different...
Wait, my fourth film is still on, right? In the first post-credit scene, we cut inside Universe 10006 as we see Mojo sit up on an unknown planet, complaining about how his entire team was wiped out and his media empire is ruined. Suddenly, we watch as mysterious creatures begin crawling out of the ground. Creatures that are revealed to be the Brood. Mojo laughs, saying that such pathetic creatures deserve to be stuck in the ground, as we suddenly watch a swarm of Brood begin attacking Mojo, eating his skin as he screams in pain. And as the screen slowly fades to black, we watch as Mojo falls dead. In the second post-credit scene, we cut inside the Council of Reeds as we see Reed Richards of Universe 1610, aka Maker Reed, played by Adam Driver, sitting in his office and counting cash. He sets down the cash and stands, commenting that selling multiversal traversing equipment to his allies, along with the profit he made from selling the Reverie crystals, has finally given him enough money to begin his secret plan. As Reed exits the room, we see a photograph of the Fantastic Four lying on the ground, with the silhouettes of Johnny, Sue, and Ben burned from the photograph, while on his desk sits a blueprint, the metallic-looking device named the Power Cosmic Suit. And that is Deadpool 3.
So that's it, Deadpool 3. So it just turned out like Deadpool win here. So please you guys comment below, please like that Deadpool 3 JTVideos MCU Phase 8 portion number 3 here. So tomorrow we'll go reaction to portion number 4. So can we go to tomorrow reaction? So we'll go start with reaction in the afternoon, but yeah. So we'll see you tomorrow, bye.